All right. So everyone, thank you and welcome to our free masterclass. This is called Aligning Your Emotions to Your Business Owner Self. And today, our special presenter is actually Miss Vienna Dunham. She is our emotion code practitioner for TWA, Transformational Wellness Academy. And also, she does Code of Consciousness and she does other things that are like mind-blowing and really allowing you to process things in a warp speed, just like Vivian, right? So we work together because of that, right? So if you don't want to really like have negative emotions forever, because that doesn't really help you much, right, in life.
True.
She's gonna share with us a little bit of that knowledge of why is emotion code really important. What are the things she's seen with her clients, right? Little testimonials here and there. How has this helped her and her clients in their life? Not just business, but in general. So Vienna, you can take it away.
Thank you so much, Vivian. It is such a privilege to be here with all of you today. Thank you for taking time out of your day to join us. We trust this is going to be beneficial and paint a picture for you of what's possible. So we've thought for a long time, just when we're just going along, plodding along through life, kind of got our head down, our blinders on, and it's not a fast trip anywhere, right? We're just moving along. And so one of the things that I found that really intrigued me about last year, someone said 2021 was an accelerator. So if something was on its way downhill, it went down faster. And if something were on its way uphill, it went uphill faster. And so I think we want to be able to ride that wave. Things seem to be leveling off some now, and yet we want to take advantage of that accelerator for all of us. And one of the things that I find trapped emotions are for me is it's like I've got one foot on the brake. So no matter how fast I push on the accelerator, if I've got my foot on the brake, it just doesn't even matter how powerful my car is. So like I can upgrade my engine, I can get new tires, I can have the best racetrack in the world. I can choose my pit crew, I can have my fans in the stands cheering me on, and all of that. If I have my foot on the brake, it's going to be I'm not going to win that race, just saying. And so that's what negative emotions were for me for my entire life until I found Emotion Code. And the sweet woman, Marla, who brought that freedom to me. And first of all, I had to become aware that I had my foot on the brake, right? Because we can't change what we don't even see. So started taking my foot off the brake and then gradually putting my foot down on the accelerator. And things have begun to move in relationships, in business, in my own self-perception over the past year or two. It's been up level all the way. And then in connecting with Vivian, now we even get to use the word up level and we get to bring all of you along on this journey. So emotion code is an energetic approach to this. So everything is energy, right? Our bodies are energy. There's just a little handful of matter. If you pulled out all the space between everything, it's just a little bit of us that's solid substance, and the rest is the energy of everything moving about. So you can see how emotion is energy, and it's designed that an emotion would come into our field, we could feel it, and then if we can process it, if we can observe it, be curious, welcome it, then it can pass on through in 1 to 2 minutes or even less, depending on how many tools you have to deal with it. And if we don't know how to do that, it can become something where we're just stuffing them down. We can even build a heart wall with it if we feel like our heart could break. Sometimes 94% of the population when they were young had a vulnerable moment and decided, oh, it feels like my heart could break. And we just not letting that happen again and throw up the emotions that we have available as building blocks and make a wall. So that's something we can look at also as a tool to clear out so you can align with your business owner self. Because you can have the most amazing dreams, the greatest vision board. You can have all these things in place. Again, the cheering squad, the pit crew, your business team. And it's important for you as the leader, the one at the helm or in the driver's seat of your business, to be able to move forward freely. So that's what emotion code and heart coherence and the various tools that have been entrusted to me can bring to the table for us. So I wanted to share a story. Someone called me up one day, said, could we do an appointment? Of course, I'm always into hope and freedom and all of that. Said, I am triggered every time I see this kind of like in another country, distant manager's email come up. I see something from her and I go, ah. And so I said, well, sure, let's take a look at that. So we found some trapped emotions and cleared them. And it was things going all the way back to elementary school. And so I'm in college. So it becomes sometimes I call it a scent trail. It's like however you process information, it might have a familiar feel to it or kind of a familiar look to it, but it's the vibration, it's the energy. And so it might be an emotion clear back from birth. So many emotions happen at birth, as you can imagine. It's quite the shocking experience to land from warm and cozy into this chilly place. So then whenever we can come along and identify those trapped emotions, they're actually subconscious. So our conscious mind knows what it's been told, what it's been programmed. And I don't mean programmed in a bad way. I just mean the values your family taught you, your culture, your religion, just any of the things that affect us in life offer the best they know. And we adopt what we want and set aside the others. And some of us have a propensity to stay curious and keep learning, and others are like, ooh, what I really need to do is stay safe. No judgment in any of that. We each get to have our own journey. So I've been encouraged of late to continue with growing and being curious and not being stuck in that trapped emotions thing of that conscious mind that tends to run the show. And if that's the only tool we've got, we've got some limitations on our possibilities. So the other than conscious mind is where we look. So it's like the rest of the brain and the body. I've been listening to the author of The Body Keeps the Score, and it's just been amazing. And they're talking about brain scans. So when we're in fight or flight, so if something triggers me in that place, then all of a sudden, whoop, my eyes get big, my speech center shuts off, my go center shuts off. So I'm like, just like frozen, deer in the headlights look, right? And it doesn't even matter if I had this beautiful laid out plan, next steps aren't even possible. It's like just frozen with fear. So that's the other than conscious mind. So conscious mind can have its ideas, and the rest of the body and the rest of the mind knows the truth. So that's what we look at in emotion code. That's what we're accessing. So muscle testing is the way that we find out about that. So I'm going to invite each of you to try this muscle testing technique, because this can be a tremendous tool. So feel your fingerprint and thumbprint together. When I was in high school, this was the world's smallest violin playing My Heart Bleeds for You. That was humor in the 70s, right? So feel that and say, show me yes. Okay, for me, that's very smooth. Now show me no. amazing. It just got sticky. And it's like a little sluggish then, or doesn't quite move as smoothly. So you can drop something in the chat if to describe what you felt. And if you got fresh lotion on, it's probably not going to work. There are other ways to muscle test if that's the case. But show me yes, it's smooth. Show me no, and it gets sticky. So that is your body saying it's that fight or flight thing. It's sweaty palms, like if you're doing public speaking. And so that's that scared place. So that is a very good clue for yes, no. So when I'm checking for trapped emotions for someone, I ask permission to tune into their channel, think of a radio, tune into their frequency, and just begin asking yes, no questions, because I find muscle testing very easy and it's a quicker way than if you've got, it's a bit of a slow boat when you're first learning, and nothing wrong with that. But we were wanting to get some fast action. So that's why we do I have another muscle testing that is faster for me. Every muscle in the body, when it's yes and positive and safe, every muscle in the body is strong and locked, as it were, in that good sense. So show me yes, show me no. So that's another thing that you can test. Teddy, can you nod? Is that working for you? That's not your favorite way, is it? Teddy, I think one of the ways you liked was the body lean. Is that right? Okay.
Yes. The only way that seems to work for me, and I get a yes or no response that is clear, is the swaying body method.
Beautiful. I'll describe that. Thank you for sharing. And for most people, there's one that stands out above the others. So that's absolutely awesome when you know what your best way is. So an example would be my mom has an allergy to some kinds of eggs and not others. So she'll go to the grocery store and look like she's reading the label. And she'll say, is this a safe brand of eggs for me? And if she goes backwards, it's like her body moving away from this thing. And she puts it down, picks up another one until she finds the one that she moves toward. She puts it in the cart and she's never had a problem. So that's a way to tap in. So that's the forward backward thing. Show me yes. So if you can just be still, some people do it better standing and some sitting. Show me yes. So just kind of clear your mind and shake any tension out of your body. Let's try this. Show me yes. The body just leans forward a little. Beautiful. I see that working for you, Jackie. Now show me no. Oh, so that's probably one of the most common that's taught. So that's the basis, is this muscle testing, tuning into what your other than conscious mind knows. So what I did is I checked in for the whole group regarding, I found 3 trapped emotions that we could release today for the whole group. Now, the first one is one that has been common for me. It's one that has been passed down through family lineage. It's often several generations for me, and it's worthless. I'm going to read that definition for you. So I invite each of you to release this trapped emotion of worthless. I'll tell you how in just a moment. Here's the definition: of no importance or value, without excellence of character, quality, or esteem, serving no purpose. And that can be my own assessment of the situation, which would be, Vivian taught us like true guilt, false guilt. True guilt is I'm not measuring up to my own standard. False guilt is somebody else put a standard. How are you ever going to live up to other people's standards, right? So I like to check for people on this worthless. Is this my own estimate of the situation? Yeah. Or is it one that somebody else projected toward me, superimposed on me? Nope. So you can check that as well. You can lean forward, lean back, and it's just another clue that can help that release. So worthless is the first one. Now, the way that emotion code works, and this is for business, this is for personal, this is just anything. is our fingertips are magnetic by design, okay? When it's subconscious, so trapped emotions are subconscious. And by stating the word worthless, we're bringing it up to your conscious mind. And then when it's a private session or a group session where we're focusing on one person at a time, then the subconscious mind will tell us exactly how many details it needs. Do we need to know the first time your body felt this frequency of emotion? And so we get all the details we need, but when it's this group without it being individuals in the group, I didn't need to know any other details because they're going to vary by person, right? So we're going to do 10 sweeps when it's brought to from buried somewhere in the body up to the conscious mind. Now we can sweep along the governing meridian to release it. Governing meridian starts upper lip and goes all the way to the tailbone. Thankfully, you don't have to turn into a pretzel to sweep that whole distance. We just do from the forehead to the base of the neck. So we're going to do 10 sweeps, and I invite all of you to join along. Teddy's demonstrating you can alternate hands so that your arm doesn't get tired. If it's feeling great, keep going. You don't have to stop with 10. All right. I lost count, but I know I did at least 10. So that has been for worthless. Let's check now. So from our group, and this can go for those watching in the future as well. You'll have the recording, those of you who registered. And so is that trapped emotion of worthless now cleared for the group? Yes. Awesome. Well done, everyone. The second, yay, celebrate, celebrate. The next is indecisiveness. So you might say, how does, yeah, sure, indecisiveness is going to impact my business. But I want to share an example. One of my clients who's been frustrated in an employee setting. Yeah, it's good. She loves her work. She's a massage therapist for a company. And yet she's very intuitive, very lovely soul. And she's like, I would like to make a difference in the world on my own with my own flavor, not encumbered by company rules, right? It's because she has modalities that she's not even allowed to use in that corporate context. So she's like, what's holding me back in my business? And indecisiveness came up. And so in that particular emotion, we needed to know exactly, it's not to the day and hour, but the approximate time that got trapped for her. And if you can imagine, it went back to 3 months old. And we were both kind of scratching our heads like, what decisions does a 3-month-old have to make? What is this even about, right? And she went, oh my goodness, I think I know where this is going. She said from 7 weeks old, I had to be on oxygen. She had RSV, a respiratory thing, and she was in a high altitude. So she had to be on oxygen, and the nighttime watch person had taken a little snooze, and she had reached up, that irritating thing on her nose or her mask, whatever it was. She was able to get it off and had a seizure. That, of course, woke up the caregiver, thankfully, and obviously she's alive and well, functioning perfectly today. And she evidently made a decision at that moment, like, oh my gosh, it seemed like a good idea at the time, and clearly it was life-threatening. So now, does she trust herself to make decisions? Let me read this definition for you. An inability to make a decision, wavering back and forth between one choice or another, stems from distrust of the self or doubting the ability to make a good decision. So you can see how that would affect, even now, to her wannabe business owner self. She's finding it challenging to shift to being an entrepreneur from being an employee. And so it's time for me to check back in with her this week and see how she's doing with regard to that. Is she seeing the way forward now? to begin to
Deanna,
make
can I ask
steps.
you a question?
Of
May I
course
ask
you
a
can,
question?
Shifra. Yes, I would like that.
I just had a huge, like, as you were talking, like this huge thing showed up. So I
Okay.
don't tell too many people this, but I was born in a cab.
Oh,
I didn't
wow.
make it to the
That's
hospital.
okay.
And I forget sometimes about that.
Right.
So indecision, because I have a really, this like is huge for me, indecision.
Okay.
And well, you were saying that when she was 3 months old. I'm wondering if I have that problem because I didn't know, should it come out now or should I wait? I mean, that's just what came up for me. I mean, it's just like, I have chills all over my body.
Yes.
Because I never knew. I don't even know. I mean, maybe I should muscle test it, but however, I never even thought of that. That is like, my face is bright red. I've got chills
Yes.
over my body.
I've got chills clear from here and I'm in Kansas.
I didn't even, I mean, that was life-changing just the second.
Yes, that's beautiful. Tell you what, I had determined that we could do have one or two individuals that we demonstrate on, not just stories from the past, but to show. So you're the
Tears.
one, Shifra. Oh my goodness.
I have tears, literally tears. I mean,
you just
that just came up for me.
let them go. Yeah, let it out. So let's check a little more detail on that. So is this trapped emotion of indecisiveness related for Shifra to that birth experience? Yes. Brilliant. It came to you on purpose, and today's the day to clear it. Do we need to know more about that? Yes. Was there more than one instance in that frame that we can release at one time? Yes. More than 5? Yeah. More than 10? Nope. 10, 9, 8. So times 8 for indecisiveness that you can clear right now or in a moment. And do we know the first occurrence was birth? Is it Shifra's alone? Yes. So you made that at that moment, not safe, you know, and it got locked in. Do we need to know where it's trapped in the body? Yes. Is it in your heart? Yes. Did it become part of a heart wall? No. So maybe at that stage that didn't feel vulnerable enough to throw up stones or whatever it would be for a heart wall, but it's trapped in the heart. And do we need to know how big it is? Yes. Okay, are we going to measure this in inches, feet, miles? All right. Is it more than 100 miles? Yep. More than 200? Yeah. More than 500? Oh, more than 300? More than 400? Nope. More than 350? Yes. More than 360? No. 350. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 355 miles worth of indecisiveness from that moment. So now we're going to find out how many sweeps. And then all of us are going to sweep along with Shifra because this was an emotion that was identified for all of us. Does Shifra need to do more than 10? Yeah, more than 15? No. So let's all ride along with Shifra and clear this indecisiveness. Yeah, 15. Breathing. Just let it out. A big sigh is helpful at times like this.
Ooh, still chilling.
Yes, beautiful, beautiful. Do you have any other sensation that you'd like to report on that?
Sensation?
Like what for myself, I felt my shoulders relax and I feel lighter. Is there anything else for you?
I can see clearer and my left ear popped.
Oh,
And I just put mascara on for this Zoom and my eyes are dripping because that's how I release, through yawning eyes. I never expected this to come up, but when you said that and started talking about that, it was just like,
isn't that brilliant? Isn't that divine guidance? Don't we celebrate it? And doesn't
thank you so much.
And it just shows, and this is true for all of us. We see for Shifra right there how much she is loved, right? That on a day like today, yeah, go ahead.
And I can breathe easy, like
Oh,
I don't have that heaviness on my chest right now.
oh,
I've had this
so
problem my
excited.
entire life of making decisions. I always ask other people, what do you think I ought to do?
Bingo.
You're in the
Made-
right place at the right time, Shifra.
Yes.
I'm
And-
telling you.
Yeah. And some people sometimes ask, oh, will this come back? And so my illustration is, let's just
No.
say no, not at all. Let's just say I had a water balloon and I threw it and it splattered against the wall and the water's evaporating and dripping down the wall. And I go, oh, wait, I didn't want to throw that. Let me go put the water back in another balloon. No, that's not happening. Same token, that energy that Shifra and each of you that did that release for indecisiveness can never gather back up and come back into your body. You are free, free, free.
I still have chills. I
Oh,
still have chills. This is
Deanna?
huge.
yeah, steady.
I would like to share a sensation while I was doing the
Thank you.
sweeping.
Yes.
And I know that Shifra kind of resonated on a personal level because she remembered that instance as you were describing the other one. I
Yes.
don't recall a specific one for myself, but I'm sure since you found it as we as a group needed to release it, the whole time when I was sweeping, I had that tingling sensation on the top of my head, on the back of my neck and my back, and it felt amazing. So on some level, I must have needed to release indecisiveness as well. Thank you for that.
That's beautiful, Teddy. Thank you so much for sharing. Would anybody else like to ask a question about that or share your own experience? This is an interactive masterclass.
Yeah, I find my shoulders feel a lot lighter.
Oh, that's beautiful.
What did he say? I didn't hear.
The
My
her
shoulders are a lot
shoulders,
lighter.
yep, that some heaviness lifted
Yeah.
from shoulders. Ah, beautiful. Anybody else?
This is just a testimonial how emotion code and Vienna's gift of being very gentle and patient and kind is very helpful for all of us, if you think about that, right? In fact, I wanted to share that this morning when I woke up, I was just feeling, I think I was feeling everybody's energy. That always happens when I do an event, just because as a psychic intuitive, I just sense, see, feel. I'm like, Vienna, what's going on? Because emotion is like water. And so the thing is, we all care, right? When you care so much about how people would respond, are they going to get better? Obviously, our intention is always to take people forward. Because
Yes.
you guys, if you keep on going backward, I don't know how you can drive your life like that.
Right?
Driving backward, like forward, but then your head is backward. It doesn't quite sit well. And everything's moving so quickly. So we do need modalities to help us really move forward. And
Yes.
it's either people think, oh no, I'm just not going to move. You're not going to not move. It's either you're moving forward, you're never standing still in life. That I know for a fact. It's either
Yes.
you're moving forward or you're moving backward. So if you're not really willing to help yourself, right, discover what else is in there, you'll see the magnificence of you when you release all these other things that bother you, that trigger you. And so I want to share that with Vienna really allowing her genius to shine as an emotion code practitioner, she's able to release things that even I at this level, right? Like I'm looking from the top floor and like, oh my God, I wonder if everything's okay. Everybody's okay. That's my job all the time, right? But at the same time, I'm like, well, how about me? So I have to be in this integrated, holistic, like centered state. Then we can serve you. Does this make sense? We can be of better service to you. So I want to thank you all for bringing up that stuff because we were able to release it this morning. More than you'll ever know. We're always working in the background, especially when you're in our group. It's really way beyond acceleration if you can be okay with that shift.
Yes. I tell you, I thank you, Vivian, very much for being vulnerable and sharing that. I value so much being part of this team because I don't have that seeing gift like Vivian does. And so people that are in the part of the group experience in the TWA, it's not Trans World Airlines, it's not Teeny Weeny Airlines, it's Transformational Wellness Academy. And that's such a value because Vivian is in the background doing that, which I don't know anybody else that has access to those gifts in those ways. So it means so much to me because sometimes I'll finish with a client, we've gotten a great result, and then it happens that soon after they have an already a scheduled appointment with Vivian or something, and there's some little things that can be swept up, cleaned up, and the big picture cleared. So that's why team is great. So I encourage all of you in your business. Yesterday's masterclass introduced human design, and it was a great review again to know what we should be spending 80% of our time on, right? So finding our own zone of genius, walking in that, and delegate out the rest so that it's not sucking energy from us. So yay, good stuff.
I'm really glad to hear Vivian say that we're all okay, because I have done lots of emotion code through the last 3 years. I'm still releasing. I've never had this big of a release. And it almost scared me for a second because it's not stopping the releasing. And when Vivian said, I know you guys are okay, I'm like, okay, thank you so much. Because she kind of read my mind on that. What's going on here? But
Exactly.
I'm here to tell you that I've never had, it's continuous.
Oh, that's magnificent. And the other thing that Vivian told me this morning is that she's holding space for all of us. So she's like, you do your work. You don't worry about the container and the space. I've got y'all. So we're in good hands. And we're all in God's hands, right? So we're in fantastic hands. It's a good space. Thank you, Shifra, for sharing, keeping us updated. I'd love
Thank you.
another update at the end, okay? There's another that I'd like, the third that we're going to release today is shame. And shame has the distinction of being the lowest vibration of all emotions. The definition, a feeling of being wrong, defective, or disreputable. The painful feeling of having done or experienced something dishonorable, improper, or foolish. Disgrace, humiliation, a cause for regret. It leads to guilt, depression, and can even lead to suicide. So let's get shame out, right? We want to be moving forward without that heavy baggage and that low vibration. So as we clear out some of that low stuff, it just automatically we rise, right? So this particular shame that was identified for our group today is inherited. The others were not in particular, but shame was, and it's diverse for each of us because we're all from different families, so we don't need any more details. And we can clear this also with 10 sweeps. So let's just take a breath, kind of get in touch with that, your own personal inherited experience of shame. And now let's do our 10 sweeps. Releasing shame, breathing. And if anybody happens to have your legs crossed, let's just uncross them and do a few more sweeps. I just found mine crossed. We want that to be able to be clear from the whole body. Ah, that feels good. I see that yawn. There's some really interesting things about releasing. It can be sneezes, coughs, yawns, eyes watering. Oh, I got to get up and go to the bathroom. You're all released to get up and go to the bathroom if you need the permission from the teacher. So does anybody have any sensations that you observed while releasing shame that you'd like to share? And let me say one more thing, that when it's inherited, it's the same band of energy that goes, it can go back. I think the most I've seen is 40 generations. Dr. Nelson was doing a clearing in a class, but and he said it's usually very significant. If it's more than 3 to 4 generations, it was significant for the original experiencer because it usually peters out after a few generations. And it can be passed to our children. It gets passed at conception. And so it's just epigenetic material. It's not part of your genes, but it's just kind of with the package. And the cool news is when we release that just now from ourselves, it released from all the ancestors and our own children. And if those of you that have children, if it had passed to them, it's cleared from them and from any children that they may have. So it's just like whew, cleared from the family line. So anybody got an experience you'd like to share about shame clearing?
Hi, Vienna. It's Rosemary.
Hi, Rosemary. Thank you for,
Hi.
what would you like to share?
Well, I feel it stuck in the back of my neck.
All
So I've
right.
been trying to like keep sweeping it away, and it's
Okay,
kind of just stuck there.
That's where we call on Vivian. Help us, Vivian. That's her expertise.
So Rosemary, you know how our brain loves to process things. So can you just squat down, like be in a prayer position and just kind of bend your head and just see if you can release it that way? See if you can.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Okay, did it go? I want to get a feedback. What happened to it after
I'm
you
still.
given it time?
I keep working on it.
Okay, so why don't we all breathe 12 times? You can do it if you like, if you have any neck tension anyway. So the neck is neck is about flexibility, right? But if someone energetically is kind of like holding your neck or like choking you from the back, you can't speak your truth, right? You're not able to say what you really want. Is there any person in your life, Rosemary, that kind of like you can't really say what you want to say? Could be a relative or a non-relative. Sounds like a relative.
Yes.
Okay, so you don't have to say anything. Just breathe it out and thank the person for assisting you the best way they could. Maybe they don't even know, right? It's very unconscious that they're doing that thing to you, holding your neck, wringing your neck. And just be grateful, ask for any forgiveness if they feel you've wronged them in any way or vice versa. And let's clear that energetically. So Rosemary, I'm sensing in the past, this is like a psychic reading, right? That in the past, you were always like, it almost felt like a slave, right? You felt like you have to do something for someone all the time. It could be your family, it could be generations, it could be the school system, but it always have felt that way. Do you notice that even in everything you're doing? It's like you're always tied to something.
I don't feel that way anymore, at least not where I was.
Yeah, but unconsciously it is still there, right? So go ahead and breathe, and we're going to break your karma sticks about that. So you have to decide when that is enough. Because it's either you work for someone big or you actually work for you. You create your own thing. It's a decision you have to make eventually. Like, what does freedom really mean to you? Ooh, there you go. It just released. Take a deep breath. So this kind of needs a little bit more work for her. It almost feels like she needs to draw the lifestyle she truly wants to have this lifetime, because it's almost like you're the key to your family's change. So when you change that, you change how your children will live. So some of this, you guys, this energetic work is so deep.
Yes.
That you can talk about your family, how bad they are. It's not going to help you, right? But you go, there's something good about them, this part, but then I would love for my family now and the future families to be different. So it doesn't matter if you were poor before, if you were a victim in the past, but when you make a decision that things are going to change, from your generation onwards, it completely shifts the trajectory of the energy. And you'll meet the right people to make that happen. Because you're willing to finally receive it. Okay, tell me how your neck's feeling.
So much better.
Finally,
just felt like-
yeah!
It
That's
felt like a
Marie,
clamp on
bye-bye!
the-
There you go.
Yeah, I felt so much better. And it was funny because like when you were asking about, working for someone else or working for myself, you think it, but I had the distinct thought, like I answered you with my thoughts and I said, I want
kinda knew that.
to work for myself. And that was the second that you said it released. Like that was,
Oh,
I just needed to say it in my head. Like
Oh.
Yay!
decide.
Yeah, it is a decision, you guys. Decide means to cut away or cut off everything. So if I'm driving to San Francisco and I have 3 roads in front of me, you're like, oh, are you gonna freeze? Because you're like, I need to go to San Francisco, but I really don't know what's the fastest way. So now you have to like pull up your map or maybe type it on the GPS on your phone. I don't do it that way. I just muscle test. I go, which is the shortest way to San Francisco that I can actually enjoy myself? And then muscle test, and then that's the path I take. But my decision takes split seconds. So most people take forever, sometimes a whole lifetime. And you're like, oh, that train already left. And you're still at your crossroads and you never moved. Do you see how you can stop yourself there, right? So congratulations, Rosemary. Yay! By the way, that's
Thank
what we're doing
you.
in Up Level, doing more healing like that with me and Vienna together.
yes.
Thank you, Vienna. Thank you,
Mhm.
Rosemary, for being the sample client.
Right. That is so beautiful. So
fun.
that's 2 different styles, all from the same beautiful big reservoir. So I just want to say that it's just going to be amazing to be together. And Vivian had guidance. Typically, Up Level has been the finance guy and the copywriting person, and like this whole let's help you plan your business and launch it. And she just took a look and said, you know what, this season has to be about healing. If we're not healed and ready to stand firmly on our own foundation, on our own 2 feet, there isn't going to be any running forward in business. There's going to be that overwhelm, quandary, longing. I wish it were different, but it's not, kind of thing. So Vivian paid attention to that guidance. And so this time it's going to be a strictly for your healing to get ready to go forward in business at Up Level 2021. And that we decided, let's do some free master classes. Let's get some traction for people, get them started going down the road, and hope that there can be a change. So you just witnessed 2 different directions, what that can look like. So if you want to join us, Up Level 2021 on Saturday, some of the details are up through Friday, as I think Vivian mentioned already, is $100 off early bird discount. It's early bird Up Level 2021 is the coupon code to get that $100 off. And you can go to the Up Level 2021 Facebook page. And Vivian, what else do we want people to know about that?
I think I typed it in the chat for everyone.
Beautiful.
Uplevel2021.com is where you can get our registration, so to speak, because there are 4 more, no, I think 5 or 6 more videos there that we gave you guys for free in order for you to review that before that event. But coupon code again is early bird Uplevel 2021. For some of my repeat clients, I know you guys have been with me for a while. You guys have a special discount because you've been attending Up Level forever, right? And you've gotten packages, and it's always different. You can ask the people that have done it. But like I said, on Saturday, it's going to be all virtual healing intensive. Because I notice in running my business, we can mix in between, right? The healing and then the actual doing. But some people, I realize they're not quite ready. That transition for being an employee to an entrepreneur, totally different space.
Mhm.
Because in an entrepreneur world, you can't do this alone. You gotta be okay to get help. Because if your life has been changing and working well, great for you. But when you're gonna build this entire team to help more people, that's a totally different story. So if you are ready for that kind of leap, we welcome you to do that. You can also invite a friend. That would be a great thing. And you guys get a 10% referral fee. So if you are a former client, please private message me or you on Facebook, and I would definitely give you the special code. Okay, I think I've texted everyone about that. But it's a healing class, pretty much, between me and Vienna, all day from 8:30 to 5 on Saturday. Okay?
Pacific time.
Pacific time. Tomorrow, you guys might want to be present for this. I know I gave you like the chakra code, you know, the chakra different charts that I have. But tomorrow I'm going to be discussing on the free master class, like what are the things that get stimulated at certain ages of your life. So let's say you're 46, you're 53, whatever age you are, there's a specific chakra or energy center that is usually activated. And if you know that, then you're not going to be pissed off about your lessons because you know that that's just part of the lesson that you needed to learn to get to the next step. Okay. And we're going to connect that to how does that work with business. So, well, thank you everyone for being here. Any questions for Vienna on emotion code, on like how do you release certain things? Like go ahead and ask her further. We have a few more minutes to be together till
Well,
1:30.
While everybody thinks of their questions, I realized I left a story half told, and it was the person who was triggered by the manager emails. So he had said at some point in the past, oh, you know, I work best under deadline pressure. And she's like, you know, that doesn't work that well for the whole department. And he realized in that moment, even though that was triggering also, said, wait a minute, that was past tense. We'd been doing emotion code sessions for some off and on for a few months. He's like, that's not even true of me anymore. I just gave her a hammer to hit me with, and it's not even accurate. So he had the gumption then, after some releases, to email. He spent a little while drafting it. On Monday morning, he sent it off and said, okay, that used to be true. It's not anymore. And it opened a conversation, and they had a great back and forth as peers, you know, discussion, rather than him feeling like the bad boy, you know, this bad little boy that couldn't get things in on time to the teacher. And so now there's no cringe factor anymore. When he sees her name as on an email, he just goes, great, I wonder what she's got to say today. So that's how trapped emotions and releasing trapped emotions can help our business owner self. So how about questions now? Your turn.
Vienna and Vivian, I have a question for both of you. Vivian, I wrote down a statement you said earlier. You said, emotion is water. And something prompted me to write it down because it resonated deeply with me. And you both heal emotions using different modalities, right? Mm-hmm. I have had a lot of water emergencies in my life lately. Yes. 2-3 months ago, it started with the leaks in my garage and my garage collapsing. 2 nights ago, my refrigerator leaked in the kitchen, floor, water everywhere. I had to have it serviced yesterday. As the repairman came, I asked him to look at my washer. Vienna, remember the washer?
I do.
Well, my cost to repair the washer is going to be $550. So today I had to buy a brand new washer. So what's going on with my life that has to do with water that I'm having these emergencies come up? What do you guys see?
Brilliant question, Teddy.
You can look at the emotion, Vienna, and I'll look at the psychic, spiritual aspect or physical aspect of it.
Perfect.
Thank you.
I'm getting 5 instances of shock, Teddy, from age 8. Interestingly, trapped in your bladder. Sounds like a water.
Are
Water
you
Bladder,
kidding me?
bladder represents fear or fright. So Teddy, what
Wow.
are you afraid of? If you actually change your life, because that's the part I see you, you're at the precipice of change, yet it's kind of like, what do I do with this life?
Fear of not having enough money.
Remember how since 1781, money
Yes,
should really
ma'am.
never be a problem at all based on human design, right?
Right.
Is it really the money or something else lacking?
I don't know.
Good question.
Yeah.
Let's sweep away this
Go ahead,
shock
sweep
and
away
see.
that thought, and then I
Okay.
can continue.
And we're going to measure in light years.
Mhm.
3 light years, Teddy. Now we need 15 sweeps. So believe me, all of us have had a shock somewhere in our lives. So let's all tune in to our own experience of shock. Whatever comes up for you is the next one to be released. And breathe. Thinking of releasing shock. Uncross your legs if they're crossed. Just found mine crossed again.
Thank you.
All right.
Is
Any
it
other?
mine or inherited?
Oh, brilliant.
Yes,
your-
can I make a comment? Well,
Yes, Lillian.
actually it's asking a question, and it reminded me that I had a bad experience Saturday before last, when at 3 o'clock in the morning there was a noise in my house, and I walked around. When I got to the hallway, my feet got completely wet. There was a big leak from the hallway bathroom, and the hall was already full of water. I started calling my children, family, friends. Nobody answered the phone. Called the plumber. He said he didn't work at that hour. Neighbors, everything. And finally, somebody answered and came over to help me. But then after Saturday before last, it's like every day has been something unpleasant happening every day. Something that is not like should be.
Mhm.
And so I don't know what is going on, but I wanted to ask if there is a way to clear that pattern, because it's uncomfortable. Luckily yesterday and today has been okay. But ever since Saturday before last, it's like every day there's been something unpleasant,
All right.
uncomfortable. So
Thank you for sharing, Lillian. Vivian, while you tune into that, I'll finish with Teddy. Teddy, it's yours alone. It's not inherited.
yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
So
And does that seem complete for Teddy, Vivian?
I'm sorry.
I was
Oh.
checking with Vivian to see if
Sorry.
Teddy's seemed complete regarding the water emergencies in the bladder.
no,
Short answer, no.
I could just say it directly. No.
Are you coming Saturday, Teddy? This might be more than our 3 minutes allows us here.
Okay, so Teddy. I'm finding the right question for her, so then she can really trust her higher guidance to guide her what to do next. So Teddy, what changes in your life when you actually have a business that's thriving? There's like a thought hanging somewhere. Like, are you gonna meet your special man if actually you're gonna be successful in business? That's like there's a conflict somewhere there that's making all these weird emergencies happen. What is your, I guess, answer immediately when I ask that question? Are you gonna meet the right person, your man, right? If you're gonna be successful in business?
Yes, and actually, as of lately, meeting that man has not been as a priority as me being healed completely and pain-free in my gut and successful.
Got
So that meeting that man has almost like naturally come on the back burner.
exactly. Okay, good. Take a deep breath. 6 times. Because you have to give yourself permission to shift. I almost felt like all the water emergencies were just releasing the old past life and patterns you've had in the past. Like literally, you could have, it may look like you have 0 or negative in the bank account and you can still rise from the ashes because you've done it before. That's my gut instinct on you, just looking at your energy. The question is, will you give yourself permission to have a different lifestyle than what you have now? It's not like you're not successful now. You're actually very successful now from where you were before, but now you're going to go up, and it's not a big tweak either. It's just a little tweak. Just you giving yourself permission can make all the difference in the world. You haven't
you for
quite
that.
given it to you.
Thank you for that. I'm already loving my lifestyle compared to a year ago.
Yep.
It's trusting the next step of
Yes.
receiving from the divine. I'm loving my lifestyle, and I'm proud of myself for the self-care that I give myself and love. So thank you for that. Thank you
I'm
both.
proud of
ladies.
you too,
Appreciate that.
Teddy.
Yes, we're very proud of you. And like I said, for me, my personal experience is one day I woke up and it felt like this. I'm on top of a mountain, and then I heard my spirit guide say, jump. I go, but is there a net or something? Are you guys going to catch me? I was like, what the heck is this about? It's like, just jump. I go, okay. For me, the trust in the divine is super high. I remember this, like, I'm like, I don't know if I'm hallucinating, but anyway, I'm just going to jump and do it. And I can tell you guys, when the moment I jumped, I remember this. I was so in debt, right? In physical therapy. And then the insurance company had owed me $23,000 and said that they're not going to pay me after I've treated all these lymphedema cancer patients. And I heard, just jump, like, get out of there. Like, don't worry about that thing. I go, well, what am I going to do with that money? And then, of course, I jumped. I did the first event, did some healing on a 3-day event, made $26,000 in 3 days. And I'm thinking, oh, that just kind of,
That was easy.
Replaced the 23, right? Because I never knew how to make that anyway.
With interest.
Well, yeah. I'm like, how did that happen again? But because when you have a divine guidance, and I know it sounded like, this is how divine guidance is, you guys. You hear something, you ask a question, it doesn't answer, by the way. You're just like, what? Okay. Because it's the guidance, and you're supposed to trust. Because Teddy, you have all the skills. You have all the skills. So it's a different lifestyle. It's a different way of making money. It's probably not the way you did it before. You're still gonna bring your skills. It's just a different you when you step into this business. Completely different, girl. That's what I see in you. Remember, I saw like a lot of people in the internet, like you're like more than beach body. That's what I saw in you in the future. So I'm like, I wonder why she's afraid of that. Are you afraid you're not going to have a husband because you can really like literally pay for a husband at that time?
I'm very
Literally.
Mail
I'm very
order.
comfortable
You
by
can just like
myself.
pay for somebody at that time.
Thank you both. Appreciate you.
Okay, so thank you. Let's just address Lillian. So with Lillian, this is her past life. She used to be really a very, very talented healer, right? In her country, right? And when she was younger, so to speak. Now, this time she's being asked to step into something different in her life. So she's no longer like, you know, in the past, Lillian, tell me what you think of a healer. What is your thought process? Like, what is the definition of a healer in your country?
A healer, it's somebody that is there to help, that provide help, especially when maybe the science has failed.
Right.
And maybe sometimes, the only thing that you provide is the release of emotions. People are more comfortable with the conditions,
Mhm.
and maybe that's it. But then you're there to provide that help. And that's
Mhm.
what a healer was for us. And again, it's a different way of thinking nowadays, because you also think of oneself, which is really important, thinking of oneself and thinking of oneself economically.
So
And
in your past experiences, was a healer paid, do you pay for that service or not really?
not really.
Yeah, so that's a
But
limiting belief, right? In the past, like kind
right,
of like
and
Jesus
again,
did it voluntarily that way.
right. And again, in a way, it wasn't paid that you could see it. But there was a way that you receive benefits
Got
from
it.
above. And so
Mhm.
I felt that I always had that payment for my services, but it
Exactly.
was in a different level. Yes.
Yeah, it wasn't a physical exchange of money, but it was more
Yeah.
something else. It could be they've given you fruits,
Right.
they're like nice to
Yeah.
your family, they've given you favors, things like that. Okay.
Right. And I was always living comfortable. At times it was uncomfortable, but there was always a way that I could pull through, and I felt that it was like a reward for
Yeah,
my services.
got it.
Yes, different.
Okay. Now, this
Okay.
time, if we fast forward, you're no longer doing healing for someone, right?
No.
Are you okay completely receiving?
Yes.
Okay. Vienna, I know lately she's getting a lot of, so there's a lot of like old belief systems that's kind of like very like ingrained, because she was feeling it in the pelvis, in the legs, in the feet, like a lot of heaviness. So when people have problems with their legs, pelvis down, they have an issue about letting go of something. So I have a homework for you, Lillian, because there's things
Yes.
that are ideal for you in your life, right?
Yes.
But I need you to bring it to present time, not in the past, because the past is the past. We can't really go back there right now. But I need you to really go, okay, so for the next 3 months of my life, what would be nice to have? And you have to be okay with having, because that's a money block, people. When you cannot have anything, that is a money block.
Right.
Okay. So a column of what can I have? And then look at what you have right now. Now, if you think that you're going to have to do everything to make that happen, that's not completely trusting
Yes.
the universe to bring it to you, right? So in the past, all of these, by the way, when things happen in your life, that's kind of weird. Yes, I will acknowledge that that is more like a weird psychic spiritual stuff. You could have pulled in some energies that are not really of this plane, that are bothering you, so to speak. And I don't want to scare people here that don't even believe in that, but there are cultures that really do believe that there's such a thing that exists. And because you have it in your experience, it becomes a reality. You see like ghosts and weird spirits. So I'm just gonna like say it like it is, right? So if you feel like something or someone is messing with you, that's why you have to close those doors and portals every day. You could, well, my suggestion to you, Lillian, go hug a tree in the morning, sit there and really feel you're back in your body completely, because that will make sure that you occupy your own space 100%. And that those weird ghosts are not welcome just because they're not.
Yes.
Because they just cause interference in your life. They cause the stuff to be broken, and you're like, what's going on? So instead of you focusing on what's good in your life, you start focusing on the problems, which is, that's part of it, right? It's we are on planet Earth. There's good and bad, unfortunately, right? We
Yes.
signed up to be here. So can you, right after this call, go to the garden? You can take your grandkids and just enjoy the stability of the trees, the plants, like really be kind of one with nature. And you may want to
Yes.
do that every day for like at least 20 minutes a day before you start your day. That's my suggestion.
Thank
You
you
need
so
a little
much.
bit more grounding, right? Because you need to be here on this planet. You don't want to check out
Yes.
yet. I don't see you dying that quickly. So I want you to be really healthy while you're here. Does that make sense?
That's a
Yes,
beautiful
and
blessing.
that's definitely what I need.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
I've,
You're
Lillian,
Thanks,
I've got
Vienna.
one quick emotion and then I want to hear Shifra's follow-up report.
Okay.
So what came up was worthless, 3 instances at 8 years old. It's yours alone and it's 3 miles big and you can clear it with 10 sweeps. So let's all,
Clear the 10 sweeps of
Do-
worthless.
yes.
Oh, thank you for bringing this up, you guys. Literally, you're helping everyone.
That feels good.
Yes.
All right, Shifra, do you have an update for us?
Unmute Shifra because we can't hear you.
Yes, I just want to say something really quick about the ghost. I didn't even expect to watch this, but Ellen did something yesterday on ghosts from the Queen Mary.
Mhm.
And they were ghost specialists and they will try to attach to you. You have to tell them, go away. You have to talk to them.
Mhm.
And they saged themselves, like their whole body and their being, and the ghosts don't like the sage. So
Yeah.
just wanted
Oh.
to share that. So Vienna, what happened is I couldn't stop yawning. I was drinking water.
Yeah,
I had, as other people were sharing, I had to get up and eat.
Good.
okay.
I had to put some food. I know that when you do deep energy work, that savory and
get hungry.
sweet are really important. I did the savory, didn't do the sweet.
Beautiful.
So, and I feel better because I feel more grounded.
Yay.
That was deep. That was deep.
Yay.
Never saw that coming when I came onto this Zoom. I never saw that coming. I was just going to be a listener today.
Right.
Ah, very good, you
Oh,
guys. So come and
that's so
join us on
beautiful.
Saturday. Friday is your last day to get your $100 off, people. And if you do want a session with me and Vienna, you're gonna have to sign up for the VIP. It's still $100 off plus the ticket. Okay. All right, everyone. If you think this is helpful and you refer a friend, you get a 10% referral fee for referring a friend. So FYI, just to let you know. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. And I'll see you tomorrow at 12:30 for
Thank
bridging
you.
your spirit
Thank you,
and
Vienna.
physical.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Have fun.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank
Have a
you,
good
Tina
day
and
all. See you
Evie.
tomorrow.